is Angela Kim from thesquishymonster.com, and today I wanted to share with you my recipe for the most pillowy, fluffy, and soft bread. This is one of my absolute favorite bread recipes ever, and it's perfect just as is, smeared with butter and jam as toast, or even in a bread pudding. And if you want the ingredients for this recipe, check below in the description box or at thesquishymonster.com. The very first thing we want to do is to create a roux, which is simply just flour and water, and we're going to sprinkle the dense protein structure of bread flour into a pan along with some water and whisk and stir over the stovetop until it gets really nice and thick. Your roux is ready when it's thick and glossy like this, and you want to constantly whisk as to prevent any lumps, and it'll thicken on medium-low. Just keep your eye on it because you don't want it to curdle or boil over, and you just want it to be really smooth. Next, you want to activate your yeast in warm, not hot milk because it will kill the yeast otherwise, and you want to sprinkle it in there so it begins to bubble and kind of rise and get really frothy and foamy. You just want it to sit aside for about 3 to 5 minutes. The dry ingredients comprise of unbleached all-purpose flour and a little bit of fine salt. You just want to whisk those two together, and that's it for the dry ingredients. To our big dry bowl holding all of our dry ingredients, we can put in all of our wet ingredients, which is my proofed activated yeast, which I heated up to a temperature of about 100 degrees, and then slide in our roux, our thickened flour and water mixture, a beaten egg, and it's ideal for it to be at room temperature, and then some whole room temperature milk. I love to use whole milk when I'm baking. And lastly, a little bit of melted butter. Now all you have to do is go in there with a wooden spoon and give it a mix. This dough will be very, very sticky, but it makes the softest, most pillowy bread later on, so just be patient with it and just give it a mix. Next, you want to scoop out all of your dough onto a floured surface. Make sure it's very liberally floured. You don't want it to stick because it is very, very extremely sticky. And you want to slide it out onto your work surface, and you want to knead it as to develop the gluten strands. So just again, be very patient with this step as well. It's admittedly the most sticky dough that I've ever worked with, but it's totally worth it in the end for the finished product. So make sure your hands are floured, the surface of your dough is floured as well. And I like to go in there with a dough scraper and just kind of put it together and just mix it all together. When you feel that it's come together somewhat, you want to scrape it into your bowl. Now you just want to dab with a little bit of melted butter on the top and cover with either plastic wrap or a tea towel and set it aside in a draft-free place so it's undisturbed so it can rise and double. And if you don't want to use a bench scraper, you can do it by hand. It will be sticky. You will leave a lot of the dough behind on your hands, but no worries. Or you could use a dough hook attachment on your mixer. Here's what the bread looks like after about 45 minutes has elapsed. It's really puffed up, and now the next step is to transfer it into the baking dish that it's going to go into the oven with, and then it's going to puff up once more. I have a really well-greased pan over here waiting for me to slide my dough into, and the dough should kind of be effortlessly be able to slide in because it kind of sticks to itself and falls out from the edges. It kind of pulls away from the edges as it activates and bubbles and kind of does its thing. So as you see, it's kind of pulled away on its own, and just slide the whole rest of the dough into your pan. This is what the bread looks like 20-25 minutes later, and I just love it because it's really puffed up, and if you look really close and you're weird like me, you can almost see it breathe. So if you don't want to do a whole loaf, you can make this into dinner rolls, or you can make this into whatever shape. You can make it into a round loaf if you'd like. So now I'm going to pop it into the oven and let it bake off. Here's the bread after it's been sliced and cooled, and you can see it's very spongy and very soft and pillowy. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, please thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to see more episodes. I hope you guys have a great day, and I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. This is Angela Kim from thesquishymonster.com, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye!